if you went in the house, it was pretty much two rooms where one room was all recording studio gear where Ben worked, and then Amy would record in the next room where they had it all padded down with heavy blankets and things that you would use for packing furniture and things like that, and they made a vocal booth in there.
We would do things like put a guitar amp in the shower and put a mic, 5 feet away from it to get a bizarre ambient intro, or, I mean, it's amazing what you'll do or what you'll come up with in a situation like a home recording environment where you don't have the options that you do it at a place like this, where you have this fabulous console and this great big tracking room,
And they went to live in this place that was squalor in Memphis. It was horrible. We'd go to visit and take them food, and it was just bad.
My main memories are of just toiling, just working and working and working, getting things done, and it was a cool setup in the house because we had the little studio in the back room, and then we could take breaks and maybe watch a movie or something. Ben and Amy were both very into film even at that point. The creative collaboration between Ben and Amy, it went several ways. Sometimes, Ben would bring a riff to the table, or a loop, or a combination of many things, sometimes a finished song, and he would come to Amy for a melody line and some lyrics. Or sometimes it would go, opposite of that. Amy would write usually on a piano or on an acoustic guitar. And so they sort of came at each other in different ways,
Creative juices were flowing, but Amy's dad was starting to get tired with his dropout daughter.
When your child's in development, out of college, as a parent you're kind of going, yeah, okay, great, because you're really waiting for something to happen. Nothing's happening. In development, you're writing, you're depressed, you're the poor musician who has nothing, you're occasionally going to the beach to get your head together, you go to the movies a little bit. There's not much going on, and when people say, what's your daughter doing? Is she in college? I had kind of grown tired of Ben and the band and all that because I didn't think they were getting anywhere.
However, Amy and the rest of the band still had their hearts set on the big time. So producer Pete Matthews headed to LA to push the record.
Once we finished working on the demos and we felt like it was ready to be shopped, I believe I first went to LA. I didn't have a tremendous amount of luck in LA. I went to every label, my management set up. I got some great response, I got some lukewarm response. I didn't get any, I don't like that, but there wasn't anybody out there that was willing to just sort of jump on it and really commit. Everybody was a little bit disappointed at the time because there had been so many no's and so many, well, I kind of like it, but not right nows and all that sort of thing, so much rejection.
With no luck on the West Coast, Pete headed east.
And I had more luck in New York, definitely. I had a lot more positive reactions and a lot more interest, like people wanting to come see the band and that sort of thing. And but that's as far as it got. I got a couple people who wanted to come see them and that sort of thing, and that's pretty good. My last meeting of the whole week in New York was at Wind Up Records, and at the very end of the meeting, she said, well, is there anything else that you have that you want to play for me? And I said, well, I have this band called Evanescence from Little Rock that I've been working on for quite a while, and I told her the whole story about moving them to Memphis and all that, and I said, I've gotten some good response, and I've gotten some lukewarm response, but nobody's really jumped, so let me know what you think. And I played her My Immortal. She got it. She immediately got it. She had, her eyes were glistening just like mine at the performance that Amy gave on that take. I left and went and had dinner, and a couple hours later I got a call from the president of Wind Up, Diana's husband Alan, and he asked if the band might be able to fly up to New York that very next day. And I said, well, I'm sure they could. And I called up Ben and told him, hey, you want to come to New York tomorrow? The band came in, and I met them at the airport, and wind up sent a limo for them, and it was sort of the classic record label big cigar guy kind of day, you know.
And when they came back from New York, they weren't so sure they liked it. They almost didn't sign with Wind Up. They kind of wanted, they were thinking that maybe they'd wait for a bigger label, you know, Virgin Records or Epic, or, you know, I mean, that Wind Up sounds real small. They only had the group Creed, which was pretty much a phenomenon at the time.
When Evanescence was signed, I was really surprised to hear about it. I could definitely see the potential in the band from seeing them early on. It was definitely different. It was unique because it was female fronted. The sound was a little bit different. Aren't a lot of people coming out of Little Rock, Arkansas sounding like Evanescence.
Wind Up decided that they wanted to move the band out to LA.
It wasn't terrible for us. It wasn't like, oh, she's gone. She's in a different state now, living in California.
They all, you know, started working out and writing, just basically writing more songs, you know.
I think sending them to LA was probably a tempering process, whether that's a record company type of deal or what have you.
They would send in songs, and the label would go, those are great, send us 10 more, you know. And that went on for a year and a half, while at the same time they were trying out several different producers to do the record.
You know, LA, there's so much more going on than there is here, you know, and I guess if you want to be around what's music, then you know, you're going to be in LA.
When I was 20 years old, 21, my wife Sarah and I moved to California to pursue a career as singers. My parents thought we were nuts. And you guys don't have a penny on you, and we're going off to California. So since I'd done it before, and I'd always talked to Amy about it and always played music, how could I say no?
So then finally they, after about, I guess, probably 15 months or so, they started making their records.
When they got out to California, it freed up their heads a lot, helped them to see more clearly. But they wrote a lot of those nice, good, depressing songs in Memphis.